afternoon, everybody. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm super happy to be here. So we're going live. So I'm both live on Facebook and also on YouTube to unravel a lot of things. So, in case, let me know where you're joining us from. Good afternoon. Let me know where you are joining us from. And I also want to quickly say a very big thank you to everybody that are on this platform. I really don't take your um, okay. So I really want to say a very big thank you to everybody that are joining us on this platform. I don't take this thing for granted. So I also want to quickly want us to discuss because you see, whether we like it or not, there's a serious circumstances that is happening in our dear nation, and we also need to talk about it. I don't want us to think or act like everything is all right. We know this is one of the most challenging period of our history where we have to discuss some fundamental things. More importantly, as regarding the issue of insecurity, and this has actually caused a lot of controversies, a lot of panic globally. And start. So I want to start by saying I appreciate the efforts that is being made, by the President of the United States of America and the President of Mr. Donald Trump, who has, gave this situation a global attention. We Nigerians, we really appreciate this. We don't take this, for granted. So I would say a very big thank you to everybody. Now, last week I had a session, though we are supposed to talk about um, the tax law, and though we have not had a lot of concerns, though we have a lot of concerns about this. Now, so somebody asked me, how secure is Lagos? Now, it seems that many people are really concerned about this, and I've had a lot of people. So in case you are coming across this video for the first time, please do well to, if you're on Facebook, can give us a follow. You can also share this video. The information we'll be sharing here is very important. So do well to share. If you're also on YouTube, please like this video. Ensure to drop a comment. Okay, let us interact. Now, so I got this question: how safe is Lagos? Other states are now, terrorists are running rampage, to the point that a lot of people have reached out to me and they want me to be careful. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate your concern. Uh, at the moment, and by the special grace of God, the, Lagos is not under siege. We are not experiencing any of those bad things, and we pray that God will continue, for God will give us, give our security operative the expertise, okay, to maintain this peace that we are currently, enjoying. And so, how secure is Lagos? Now, the first thing basically is that Lagos is a border town with Abeokuta. It is a border town with Ijebu-Ode. It's also a border town with other neighboring states like Ibadan. And in my last video, I talked about the effort that has been made, okay, in order to secure the boundaries of Lagos. And I would say that I am very impressed with what I've seen so far, with the measures and everything. As at 6 a.m. this morning, there's this, Lagos has a lot of security operatives. Okay, we have the Nigerian Police Force, we have the Rapid Response Squad, we also have, I think, the NSCDC. Of course, these are federal arms. Then there's this neighborhood watch, and the state has charged them of what is happening in other states, why it is very important. So as at this morning, report getting to me basically states that the Lagos state government has ordered all the rapid response security agencies to to man our borders. Yes. So if you have if you have been to the K2 Mount 12, you know the K2 Mount 12 is more or less like an access and like an access, a road network that allow inflows of farm um, produce, agricultural produce into the market. So as I'm talking to you right now, reasonable member of security operative, which is a rapid response squad, have mounted those borders. And the same thing is also done in Bega, Ojudu Bega. Of course, you know Ojudu Bega is an access that connects Lagos, Ibadan, Lagos, Abeokuta. So some measures, some rapid response squad have also manned that border. And in Omole, in Ikeja, and other places, the security operatives are doing their best. So I want to start by saying a very big thank you to every commissioner of to the governor, to every security operatives. This is highly, highly commendable. And the reason why this is being done basically is that if anything happens to Lagos, then there will be no Nigeria. So I'll start by saying that because in the last video I stressed, the economic importance of Lagos to the entire nation, and this is highly, highly commendable. And also there have been regular patrol van, more importantly in the rural areas of Lagos. Even in our location here, I've confirmed several times that police vehicles are moving around and doing a lot of things. And also I think a few months ago, the Lagos state government was at Ojota market, evicting those people, the northerners who are begging on the street of Ojota, K2 my 12, and they've been massive, massive evacuation. And also in Lekki, for some of us that are familiar with Lekki Phase 1, I raised the concern a while ago, and I appreciate the fact that my video goes viral because whenever it comes to security, we also need to be very, very observant of what is happening in our society and in our environment. So I raised an alarm of because there was a particular time I was coming from the Lagos mainland, and what happened basically was that as at 10 o'clock in the night, I saw a truckload of human beings, but majorly children. Okay, those are the Amaljiri children that they were being offloaded in Lekki, in that Chevron Agungi axis, and I raised an alarm towards that. And the security operative, kudos to the chairman of the Etiosa local government. He has mounted a lot of security guards there, and this is very, very massive. And so I would say basically that other neighborhood right now or other states are fully, fully aware, and I can assure you that it's not going to be business as usual for anybody that may want to, disturb the peace of any of this neighboring southwest. So I'm also going to discuss some of the outcome of the deliberation. So there were two meetings that were held, concurrently, and I talked about the one that was held in Ibadan a few days ago, and there was also another meeting that was held in Abeokuta in Ogun State, and I'll be discussing, the resolution of those meetings, and I'm also going to look at that. So a lot of people have asked me, um, I want to come for the December period. I've already secured my flight ticket, and what should I do now? Okay, what you should do basically is that be mindful of the environment which you are residing. For now, I can categorically tell you that Lagos is completely peaceful. The security operatives are doing their job, and a lot of things have been happening basically. So, in fact, I was told yesterday that the Oba of Epe has also mounted some vigilantes, okay, to move around the Epe forest, the Epe bush, and make sure they are monitoring the activities of um, anything. So once they suspect any foul play or any unusual movement, the KBC has instructed the vigilantes to call the appropriate authorities just to um, maintain peace. Now, I would say that the precautionary measures that is being taken not only by Lagos State but by every southern weather state is highly, highly commendable. Because you see, it will be very sad, okay, for anybody to be caught unaware. Now, and a lot of people have reached out and they've expressed their concern concerning this. Is Lagos safe? Should I still continue with my property investment? What will happen if Lagos is eventually attacked? Now, I would say this basically that it's quite sad that as a nation we find ourselves in this kind of precarious situation. And though I have my own reservation, I would have probably, state my own observation of what should have happened. Should this have happened, in the first place? But if you have been monitoring the situations of what has been happening across, the country, you notice that there's also some international, conspiracies towards this. We've seen trucks. There was a video that was shared on King Tunde Head North where a white man was also part of the helicopter. They were handling, distributing arms to all these terrorists. And basically this is very, very I would say is sad, however, but that obviously is just the reality of what is going on. So every other states are now on high alert, okay, and they've mounted everything. So I'd also discussed in my last video what could be, So today I'm going to go further and explain some of the things. Is Lagos secured? Is Lagos secured? So before I go into that, or someone asked me, okay, so I got a lot of questions from my previous videos, and I'll be responding to some of those questions very quickly. So I want to say I apologize because I'm getting WhatsApp call. Thank God the phone is on silent because we really need to address this. Now, if you are a diasporan, um, and you want to enjoy your state, if there's a need, if it is highly necessary for you to travel, please don't use the road. um if I'm to travel now, I think the maximum destination I can go to is Abeokuta and Ibadan. Anything that exceeds Ibadan, like other states by road, right now is not advisable. And the reason why it's not advisable is because of the fact that some of these southwestern states are just beginning to draft their own security architecture, and then they're trying to see how they can, make the road safer for travelers. So, um, taking a flight of 150,000, 200,000, 300,000 is way, way, way better than just traveling or probably using the road. The road presently right now, if you are going, more important, if you are going towards that Abuja, you're going towards, Edo. Presently right now, there have been reports of kidnappings in Edo State, and it's quite sad. So that is there. So, but Lagos at the moment is safe, very, very safe. Business has been going on well. The security has been at the top gear. Now, what is Lagos doing as a state to ensure that it maintains its peace for as long as this issue of insecurity continues? Now, there are a lot of things that I want to discuss, but because of the fact that I'm not a security expert, but from the little knowledge of the interaction I've had with various security experts, you don't disclose, okay, the security strategies or intelligence online, so that you would not, arm your attackers with your information, and of course, there won't be ambush. So basically, what has been done basically is that there was a meeting in the southwest, in Ogun State, and these are the resolutions of all the southwestern states. Now, the first meeting that held was among the Yoruba southwestern. We're talking about Lagos, Ogun, Ibadan, Oshun was there, Ondo State was there, and Ekiti was also there. So the resolution was made. But the second meeting that was held in Ogun State had other southern states. They came together, and this was their security, or this was what they intend to do. Now, the first thing they decided to do, that the southern governors agreed to, is to set up a security trust fund. Now, the purpose of this security trust fund is to have a fund that they can use to develop their own security architecture. And I would say that that is a fantastic idea. Now, the reason why insecurity has tried, in other states, basically, is due to the fact that each of those states don't have their own security architecture. We all know that the Nigerian police report to the federal government, the Nigerian army reports to the federal government, and other security operatives report to the federal government. And one of the things that have also led to the collapse of security in some of these states basically is due to the fact that there is no meaningful security architecture that can envisage and, of course, protect situations like this. And also, someone also, there was a question I got in my last video, that there was a security vote that was given to each state. And the question this particular viewers of mine asked is that, what exactly did each of the states government did with these security votes? Now, I am not a governor, at least now, for now, and I honestly cannot. Now, I think what the southwestern governors are trying to do basically is that the security votes fund that they have at their disposal, they are trying to pull it together and build a security architecture. Now, what they intend to do is to have more attack drones, have more patrol plane, and have arm their local security with AK-47. And I'd say, to me, it's highly commendable. Highly commendable. Now, the purpose of this fund basically is that whenever there is a need, okay, to attack or beef up the security, they will not need to be waiting for the federal government idea. Of course, we all know basically that um, security and protection is the sole responsibility of the federal government. So I am not disputing that reality. So I'm not saying it's whether it's for the federal government or not. What I'm trying to say basically is that the federal government right now is overwhelmed by this situation. Okay, so it is very important that every man face his own problem. And of course, to an extent, the Security Trust Fund will give these states an opportunity to create a sophisticated security architecture that can help them protect their borders. Now, so funds that will be needed for attack jets, funds that will be needed for ammunitions, funds that will be needed for drones, funds that will be needed. In fact, as at yesterday, I was told that the Lagos State government have been mounting, CCTV cameras in some places where there could be likelihood of, penetrations. So when states have access to some of these funds, they can use it to protect themselves. So the security fund, so all the southern weather governors are coming together. They are putting money in these funds and they are using it to beef up their own security architecture. So the second thing they also agree to do is to use patrol helicopter, patrol drones, and of course, anytime they discover any hideouts of any of those bandits, the Fulani militia, they will send an intelligence. Let's say, for instance, now, like something happened recently, okay, in Ajebo town of Ijebu. They discovered a settlement that was believed to be a Fulani settlement. And I love what the Ogun State governor did. Kudos to him, okay. And I love the level of this security awareness among the Southwest Westerners. The moment the Ogun State governor sounded that, got the notification, the security operatives were notified. And so when they got to that hideout, they found some wealth. So when they got there, they only found women and children. So what they did was to evacuate those people out there, and they set up that camp on fire. They destroyed it. So basically, when state begins to use patrol helicopters, drones, and other patrol jets, they can easily destroy. So what is done is that, like what has been happening now, when that settlement was discovered in Ijebu, in Ajebo of Ogun State, an SOS message was sent. The security operative reacted to that differently. Other neighboring states was notified that there was this settlement that is believed to be a Fulani settlement So the setup is SOS message. So the vigilantes within those axes were mindful of the activities of foreigners. More importantly, those who are suspected to be any of this. So what they are trying to do basically is so what the state governor also concluded on basically is to create a technology that can reveal the hideout of terrorists. And that obviously is the height of that meeting for me basically. So they have decided to employ the use of tech, the use of you know technology to accurately survey, like a surveillance kind of thing. So whenever they determine and they were able to discover an hideout of terrorists, an SOS message is also sent. Appropriate security is also notified, and they also go there. And so whenever you discover a bandit hideout or a Fulani hideout or some other things, the security is operative, so they don't wait for them to attack. And I think I would also encourage the federal government to also do that. So they don't wait for them to attack; they do the attack by themselves. So basically, is very very good and like that. So another thing that they also concluded at the meeting of South Carolina governor is to do what we call a proper documentation of every foreigner that is coming in. And if you have seen what Lagos State government have done, mounting security operative at the border, one of the reasons why some of these states were easily infiltrated and majority of them were displayed basically was that there was poor border control. Now, will I say no? Now, it has been revealed that there are a lot of international conspiracies to what might be going on in some part of this country, which is um, a lot of people have argued towards that. So I'm not here to affirm this and that. I'm just trying to give an information. Now, there've been a lot of infiltration recently in Adamawa. It was also said that they stopped a vehicle that was conveying over 550 Fulanis. And where they are coming from, they don't know. Where they are going, they don't know. But they were stopped and they were accompanying back to where they were coming from. And when the reason why we have larger cases of casualties like this is that there is no proper documentation of who is coming in, who is going out. So there's going to be a proper documentation of foreigners. So if you're a foreigner, more importantly, if you are suspected to be any of these, whether you're Fulani or whatever, you are going to state your purpose of visits. There's going to be an identification number, and they're going to trace you. So there's going to be a scrutiny before you be allowed to either stay or go back. And if they can do that, I would say basically it's a very, very fantastic idea, because you see, the reason why most of these things are happening is because there's no proper record. Nigerians don't keep record of who's coming in, who's coming out, and I think the South African governors have seen this to be one of the major problems that have heightened this. So not this is not happening only in Lagos; it's happening across all South and West, and they also um, concluded on the creation of state police. Now, the creation of state police right now is, so the president has also saw a need for it, and he has passed the bill, okay, to the National Assembly to deliberate on this. Now, the reason why the southwest is different is that if the House of Assembly or the Senate or the House of Representatives gives an approval for the creation of state police, now what will happen is that instead of having police commissioners, police PROs coming from other states, okay, to whether Lagos or any of the southern west, you know that most of these people are not residents of this state. So in most cases, they don't have the knowledge of the environment. They don't know where the forests are. They don't know where the exits are, and that is why sometimes insecurity has prevailed for a very long time, because they are bringing in foreigners. And the fantastic idea of this basically is that one of the things I've applauded this idea for is that if you have an indigenous commissioner of police, if you have an indigenous police PRO who is aware of his forest, who is aware of his where the market is, who is aware of the geographical terrain of the area, it becomes very easier, for that person to mount the gate and of course do the needful. So even when there's an attack or a penetration, they know where to trace those people to. So, and what will happen basically is that once there's a creation of that state police, whosoever is the police boss in that state reports directly to the government, because um, reporting a situation to the federal government, okay, that is already, busy with other, activities and some other things, it makes it easier. So I think this obviously is a fantastic idea. Now, the difference is that if there is an approval for the creation of the state police, the reason why the southwestern zone will be of most advantage is that they already have their own security architecture, which is their Motekun. And I can tell you basically that Lagos will not just stop at Amotekun. Lagos State have OPC, they will do as People's Congress. They have other security activity. In fact, they have the neighborhood security and some other things. So once there is an approval, okay, from the federal government on the creation of state police, all they just need to just what incorporate their other states together with the police force, the rapid response force, and of course, security is beefed up. Presently, security is beefed up, okay, but you cannot give arms to all these state police, to all this security architecture without the approval of the federal government. So once this is done, this will be done. So another thing that the southwestern governors also uh, approved is, once all these things have been done, they are going to attack the forest. So they are going into the forests of where places that they've had cases of repeated kidnappings, okay, maybe in past administration and probably in maybe in time past. They are going to attack those forests and clear the forest off. So what they're trying to do is that they're going to make they're going to make the forest not a safe haven for all these bandits and kidnappers. And so according to them, okay, they believe that the best form of defense is what? Is to attack. Go into the forest, get rid of these guys before they create, havoc. So these are where some of the um, security resolutions that was agreed by the government, by the southwestern governors, and of course the Lagos State government was also in attendance to this meeting. So with some of these things that I have explained, you'll agree with me that the southwest states, which Lagos is a part of, are not taking security lightly. Now, once they get all the necessary approval from, which I know they will get it. So I know they will get the attention of the state police. Now, the major reason why um, insecurity will not infiltrate some of these southwestern states is that they already have funds to create their own security architecture. At the commencement of this video, I said someone reached out, commented, and said the security votes that was given to each of the governors of the states, what exactly are they? So, in addition to the revenue that some of these states are generating, okay, with the security votes that is being allocated to them by the federal government, I believe that each state has the resources in terms of getting, at least to an extent, protecting their state from from bandits and other terrorist organizations. The reason why I believe that most of these state have their resources is that these particular governors are one of the governors that have enjoyed higher revenue from the federal government. So I wouldn't want to go into details because this is more or less like a real estate class, not a political class. And I'll be starting a political podcast soon because I'm a graduate of history, did a lot of political science when I was in the university, and then there's a lot I need to discuss. But I will not be doing that on this particular platform. I'll create a separate platform where we'll talk about all this political stuff and then share my knowledge. But these are the measures that has been put in the southwestern states to prevent, and if it happens, combat bandits penetration. Now the question is, if they attack Lagos and other southwest, would the attack be as devastating as what we have seen in the northeast, north central, northwest, and even the north, the core north of the area? Now, let's go into a little bit of insight and analysis. What has happened in Nigeria basically is quite unfortunate. And I would say that the reason why some of these folks have decided to limit their activities, okay, to the forest and rural areas is due to the fact that a lot of things have happened. They've been accusations, alleged accusation. So I'll say allegedly. So I'm not here to affirm or confirm if these allegations are true or not. Like I said, I'm a neutral person, just giving my own perspective to these ongoing situations and probably give my own one or two takes on what should be done. Now, what has happened in some of these southwest allegedly is that the security operative have been, how do I say it now? They have been accused of compromise, and they've said majority of them are complicit. Okay, and I would say one of the reasons why most of these attacks have lingered for a very long time is because of the fact that some of the police officers that were transferred are not indigenous of that town, so it becomes extremely difficult for them to even know. They don't have an idea of how their forest looks like, how their market looks like, how their places of worship. So basically, in the process of why these people are trying to settle down, the Fulanis and other people that have been in this axis have have a detailed knowledge of the environment. So sometimes when they struck, the security operatives most times are left helpless. Now there have been accusations that most of them are complicit, most of them are guilty, most of them are aiding this until when we make accusation, I'm not saying that it is true. I'm not saying it's a lie. What I'm saying basically is that whenever we have some of these things, it is always important that we back our accusations with obvious evidence. So I would say basically now Lagos is a mega city or an intending mega city. That's number one. Number two, Lagos is the economic lifeblood of Nigeria. That's number two. Lagos population is over 20 million. That's number three. Um, Lagos house the most expensive real estate. When I talk about Eco Atlantic, Banana Island, Victoria Island, Lekki, Ikeja, Magudo, and the likes. Lagos house most of those things. Any attack on Lagos is an attack on the nation. And I would also say it has also been allegedly, that some past governors and people that are presently in government as at now have most of their properties in Lagos. And of course, we all know the refinery is in Lagos, the deep sea port. So there's an investment in Lagos, and it will make it extremely difficult for security operatives to compromise. I'm not saying that there might not be maybe cases of compromise and the likes. Um, the investment that we have in Lagos cannot allow some of this, and that's why you notice that ever since they've been reported cases, if it is happening in Lagos, maybe the outskirts, or and whenever there's an outskirts, there's always a response. There's always a response. There's always a response. Okay, but that is today is not to discuss that basically. So I believe that with the structure that is happening, I'm not saying there are not plans, you know, to attack Lagos. Now, the basically the truth here is that most people are even aware that the southwestern, okay, is the next targeted location. So they are prepared. So whether it happens or not, it will be curtailed. It won't be as bad, it won't be as devastating as what we have in other states. And trust me, the governor is doing everything humanly possible to avoid, to even ensure that it doesn't even attack. Because you see, whenever these attacks is, it's going to affect the Nigerian's GDP, because investors will be scared of doing business in Lagos. A lot of people, a lot of expatriates might leave. So a lot of foreign nationals may be forced to leave. And most of our industries, most of our constructions are being done by expatriates. Okay, whether our people are not qualified to do that is not an issue for today. It's not a major concern. But the most important thing is that a lot is at stake. And I can assure you that everything will be done. In fact, it's not only the governor that will be left to handle the security. All these people that have companies, industries, will start also doing what? Doing a lot of security, contributions, donation. First of all, I want to applaud Chief Aliko Dangote. I've seen some trucks that are being used, by the vigilante security of Ibejuleki, and most of these patrol vehicles were given by um, Chief Aliko Dangote. And of course, there are also some notable real estate developers that gave the Ibejuleki security patrol also some patrol vehicles. So you see, people who own businesses in Lagos will do everything to protect their investments. So that is the reason why I think basically that Lagos is safe, regardless of whether attack comes or not. Lagos is safe because of what is at stake. Now, this one now is my own submission. You are at liberty, okay, to make your own conclusions and that. So the question is Lagos safe? 100% Lagos is safe. And the moment um the government approved the creation of state police, Lagos will become a safe haven. Now, with this infiltrations, with this insecurity and some other things that is happening in neighboring states, the disadvantage here is that there will be large influx of people seeking refuge in Lagos. Yes, there will be large influx of people seeking refuge in Lagos. There will be large influx of people. So if Lagos is able to sustain a healthy security architecture that can enhance safety, one of the major disadvantages is that Lagos may be overpopulated. At the moment, right now, Lagos is overpopulated. That's just a fact. To the point that people are making houses with wood. What it is generally called Paco house. Yeah. So now, when we start having large influx of people who are probably migrating because of the insecurity that is happening in other states, it will make it will put pressure on properties, okay, that is not even able to go around. Now, in 2 years, Lagos landlords have increased their rent times three. So what most of us are paying right now, for us that are still renting, okay, is that we are paying times three. Now, some of us, we have to pay rent for where we stay, which is our house. We have to pay rent, okay, for our offices, and some of these offices are serviced. So sometimes a lot of people are asking, why am I always making videos? Because the office we use presently right now, the light goes up by 5 o'clock. So by 5 o'clock, you can't literally do anything. So I have to just come home and shoot my videos and do whatever I want to do. So sometimes, so I even prefer to even do most of my work at home, because of course it's very closer to the office anyway. So I'm paying rent for place I stay, for the office I use, and of course, my wife also has a shop, so I'm paying three rents. So there's imagine what we go through. Now, when we now have large influx of people coming down to Lagos because of insecurity, and that is why it is very important that government find a solution, a lasting solution to insecurity. Because as interesting as this is, now, what will make Lagos landlord to be very, very callous is that while you are disputing the fact that the money your landlord is asking you to pay is very expensive. Somebody is on the ground that even wants to pay double just to have that your house. Now, what most people do in this kind of situation is that some people pay 2 years rent, 3 years rent, because of the fact that the houses that we have in Lagos cannot go round. It can't. It's quite unfortunate that in this our Ibejuleki here, they have started renting 1 bedroom apartments, room and parlor. What is called room and parlor is they've started renting it for 1 million naira per annum. And the situation is that is even going to go worse as from 2026, 2027. So if insecurity is not properly addressed and we have large inflows of people coming from other states, it will get worse to the point that if you don't end well, you may be forced back. I've always been saying this all of my videos, that a lot of people will be forced back to their hometown because people seeking refuge, people seeking this and that, not just only people seeking refuge. There are other people who come to Lagos to do businesses. So if this persists, properties are going to be very, and I made a prediction a few years ago, and I'm going to say this: if you are, it doesn't matter where you are across the world, though, whether you are in diaspora or some other things, whether you're in diaspora, you're in Nigeria, before the closure of this year, before the close of this year, have a property in Lagos. See, the situation is getting to a point that 70% of all the houses they are building in Lagos is for short let. Now, with this, the reason why the real estate in Lagos was not this expensive is that there were other tourist alternatives. You could go to Ekiti waterfall, you could go to Agogi, you could go to other places for tourism. Okay, so those places at that moment were competing in Lagos in terms of this. But right now, with the level of insecurity, many people will be forced to do real estate, to spend their holidays in Lagos because of the security architecture that can protect lives and properties. Now the consequence basically is that the available property will be very, very expensive. In fact, as at 25th of October this year, this October, we all our shortlists were booked from as at that 25 till January, some January 2, some January 4, some people, in fact, some people even booked 3 months straight. So if this matter of insecurity is not addressed and Lagos becomes the only destination for investors, it's going to become very, very tedious. Like, if you don't own a property in Lagos and you do business in Lagos, you'll be forced to be coming all the way from Ijebu, Ibadan, and even other alternative places. Now, with even this one that they are even doing train, Ekpe from to Ajah will no longer be a destination. But the most important thing is that landlord will be very, very ruthless and brutal, and that's just a fact, because they know that there's insecurity in other places. Lagos is the only option they have. Of course, other southwestern may also update their own security architecture, but there's this crave for Lagos. If you are watching this video, this is an appeal, a passionate appeal to you. Anything you want to buy in Nigeria before they introduce this 2026 tax law, buy it now. Any investment you want to do, see, the entire investment thing is now. Somebody was asking me that why will Lagos real estate be crazy in fact, my own landlord has told me that as at if I'm to renew this rent of where I am presently, this is the price he's going to consider. Now, a lot of people have been saying, there should be laws. Now, government can only enforce law when there are alternatives. Now, if government is saying, okay, there's this tenancy law that says your landlord cannot do this, government don't be hard for my landlord. So what I must now do basically is to make effort to get my own house, because you see, it's going to be very, very brutal. And the truth basically is, if you are very, very, if you want to enjoy what Lagos has to offer, because you see, The moment they made that announcement for that rail construction that will be coming all the way from Marina to Ekpe, the values of rent, it didn't increase by 100%, it increased by 250%. And it was crazy. And the point basically is your landlord will confidently tell you, if you cannot pay, leave my house. There are 1,000,001 people on the queue waiting to take the house from you. So the best thing is that if you cannot afford to buy a house off plan, at least get a land. Just have something that the moment rent eh, becomes unbearable, you will have a backup plan, an option B. That's in essence. Because if you have analyzed the situation of what is happening, and a lot of people are asking, will it get better? So why we wait and hope and anticipate that things get better? Start making your own calculated moves. So I've said it before. If it is in Elerong where you can get your land in Ibejideki, because what they are, in fact, what that did, I was at Chongotedo to go check a landed property, land that we have not even concluded the due diligence. Developer told us that because is some minutes away from the coastal road, they are selling 500 square meter of land in Chongotedo for 70 million. Now, if you carry 70 million to buy land, how much do you now want to build the house? Are you understand what I'm trying to say? Now, you will go to houses, two-bedroom apartment that are like cubicles, and they will tell you is 89, 90 million. And you ask yourself a question like, are we still going to have houses that will accommodate our furniture? Because with what with what some real estate developers are building, the situation is and you know, one of the reasons why now, except you are doing shortlets, apartment is good for you. Now, if you now want to go into shortlets, let me also inform you that the minimum two-bedroom apartment on the Lagos mainland, if you are looking at Surulere, if you are looking at Anthony, Ikeja, you know, those are the core areas. Yaba, those are the core areas of real estate investment, because there are people there, there are companies there, there are individuals there. It's like there was a particular time I was at Yaba, I was at 6 o'clock. You know, I had the opportunity to walk down to Ozone Cinemas. I could go to, you know, Tasty Fried Chickens. There are a lot of malls. There are a lot of, you know, there are some places you will come to this Lagos that you won't feel like going back home. Now, because of the side attraction of those things that are in that location, two-bedroom apartment for rent in Yaba is 5 million per year. There was one they showed me today, okay, in Surulere. That if you see the visitors toilet of that apartment, is terribly, it's not small, it's terribly small, and the landlord was demanding for 7 million per year for a two-bedroom apartment that is as tiny as a cubicle. And it shows. And the will I say the amazing thing or the annoying thing is that everybody building house now are not building for normal rent o. Is it that some people are buying to resell at an higher price? The larger percent of real estate developers that are building, more importantly in the Lekki corridor, the mainland corridor, the highbrow area, they are doing it for shortlet. They are using it for short. In fact, there is one shortlet beside my house here, an apartment o. I'm not marketing from them, but their two-bedroom, if you want to rent it for 1 month, is 360,000. That's the reality. So it's getting to a point whereby if you don't have something you can call your own, you may not be able to afford rent in Lagos. It is as bad as that. Now, coupled with the fact that there is security situations in other states, and the moment people start coming in, you know, to Lagos, feeling that situation, the situation will become worse. And the smartest thing for you to do as a real estate investor, see, if you are buying shortlets, start the process this year. If you are buying rental apartment, start the process this year. If you are buying land, start start the process this year. Now, the reason why I'm making these agitations is due to the fact that the situation is going to be very, very intense come 2026. More importantly, if the security situation is not adequately responded to, imagine a situation where people are coming from I don't want to imagine it, but that is obviously the situation of what is happening in Lagos. And that is why it is very important that we have these discussions. The point is for you to know what is going on, give you a detailed explanation of it, and this can affect the kind of investment you can do. Now, if you have an adequate understanding of some of these things, it will help your investment decision. And the moment it has been able to do that, it will put you in a position whereby if anything happens, you're always at an advantage. You see, if you have, it doesn't matter how well you may hate this country, eh? If you don't have a property in Lagos, you can't consider yourself to be the Odogus, because Lagos, because of the role that Lagos real estate plays in real estate, Lagos plays in the Nigerian real estate. So these are the so I have questions that I want to quickly respond to because my time is fast spent. Now, there was a question I got in my previous video where I was told, as I was asked that, because I said, what are those top three things you can invest for? So for the sake of those who were not in the previous live session, I'm going to go over them. I said, if you want to invest, you can invest in short-let investments, you can invest in rental properties, you can reinvest in commercial real estate. I said that. Of course, I've been doing a lot of videos on my YouTube platform. I think I've not been posted on Facebook. I've started posting on Facebook too. And the reason why I'm showing you, making these videos, is for you to see what you can key. Now, there was a concern that an investor raised, and this particular person said, "How can you be saying 85 million naira is cheap?" Well, 85 million may not be cheap, but trust me, what 85 million naira will get you in this Lagos, you may not even equal the value of what you think. And when we talk about value, value basically is dependent on your perception. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. The longer you wait to invest in Lagos, the more unaffordable it will be. So I talked about short lets. In fact, see, the short letting is, if you can afford to do a studio apartment, you will still earn. It's good. If it's one bedroom apartment, if it's two bedroom, you can do it. If it is rental properties, where are areas where you can get good rental properties? Lekki Scheme 2, if you are the fan of the island. Okay, Lekki Scheme 2. You can also get in some places in Shongotedo, some places in Apijo GRA. Okay, those places are fantastic. It's on the Lagos mainland. The reason why I'm always reluctant to mention Lagos is because everybody has been on the mainland. Everybody in a short they won't do. So this basically right now is a major concern. More importantly, for those who are, and it's there's nothing you can do because they own the property. They decide what they do to it. Then I also talked about commercial properties. I talked about malls. I talked about office spaces, and there are two ways of getting this. You can actually get them as an off plan. Now, the difference between off plan is that the off plan gives you an opportunity to spread payments. Nobody will spend money to complete a building and ask you to do a payment plan of 1 year, or 18 months or 24 months. Now, and I explained that the reason why why this is the situation is due to the fact that most of those people that are building in Lagos are using high interest loans to build. So because of the fact that they are using high interest loan, they have a time to repay the property, to repay their loans. And because of the fact that the loan is a high interest loan, the faster they pay, the more advantageous it will be on their side. The longer they wait, the more. So that is why if somebody has completed a building, the maximum they do, like they are very, very fair, is they will ask you to pay in 3 months. But you see, off plan gives an opportunity to key in at the foundation and spread. And I also said that if there's any off plan you want to do, ensure that that off plan does not exceed 12 months. That's my own recommendation. I have a video where I've explained that and some other things like that. So that, then I also mentioned, okay, if you don't have bulk of cash to do maybe 80 million, 85 million, because that's the price you will see apartment in Lagos. I'm not going to come here and say I want you to get anything. If you see anybody selling below 80, 60 million and it is credible, my brothers and sisters, my fathers and mothers in diaspora, jump at them. So that is the reality. I now give an alternative that, okay, there are companies that are also into agro real estate. I talk about the next generation farm that are doing cocoa and plantain. And I also talk about palm rich that are majorly into palm oil production. And I said that if you don't have the bulk of cash to do this off-plan project, you can go into agro real estate. For some time, you'll make money. So the money you make from those agro real estate, you can save it up and buy a choice property of your own. And the question I raised was that they said with the infiltration of Fulanis and some other things, how safe is the farm? And I'm very, very glad that that question was raised. I'm very, very glad. Now, some of these companies that are running farms is due to the fact that maybe many people are not aware. Now, anybody that is putting millions of naira to do an agricultural project has made adequate preparation for security, because it's not just about those kidnappers infiltrating, coming to the bush and some other things like that. If you should set up a farm and you don't have a good surveillance to monitor what is going there, you run into debt. You definitely run into debt because people can come in, okay, and steal your plant, and you start telling investors stories, okay. So these guys have a good security system, okay. They are aware of what is happening in the country, so a lot of them have put in all the necessary strategies to ensure, okay, that they are because it's people's money. So they have good surveillance, and most of these farms are 100% safe, okay. And they also have indigenes as vigilante groups who also help them to do this. And of course, with what the southwestern governors are planning to do, your investment in southwest will be 100% safe. So these are some of the concerns that was raised. So my advice, if you are watching this video, Lagos in 5 years from today will be a case of, you can afford me, stay. If you cannot afford me, go to your village. So that's obviously the reality. So I want to say a very big thank you to everybody that have joined this live session. I want to appreciate everybody that stayed right from the start to this end. God bless you. I appreciate your patience. I appreciate everything. Thank you very much for always standing by us. So this is where I'm going to draw into this curtain of our live session of insecurity. How safe is Lagos? I want to say a very big thank you to everybody, and by the special grace of God, let's do this on Tuesday. Of course, there's going to be an uploaded video by tomorrow and next. Thank you very much. See you all on Tuesday for the live session, and tomorrow, of course, I'll be posting more videos, real estate videos on investment offers that you can take advantage of. So I'll be dropping one by the special grace of God. Uh, Today's Friday. Okay, I'll be dropping out one by the special grace of God on Thursday. I mean Saturday or Sunday, preferably Sunday. Thank you. God bless you. Bye for now.